The digital world just got hit with a shockwave that nobody saw coming. While the Philippine nation was still processing the emotional aftermath of Alex Eala's stunning late-night victory under the California Stars, the WTA live ranking system quietly detonated a bomb that changed everything. As the final points were calculated from the iconic blue courts of Indian Wells, Alex did something that the algorithm itself seemed unprepared for. She didn't just climb the rankings. She rewrote them. The numbers tell a story that analysts are still struggling to process. From her previous career best position, Alex has vaulted to an all-time personal high of number 28 inches the world. Let that sink in for a moment. For the very first time in recorded tennis history, a Filipina athlete is sitting inside the top 30 of professional women's tennis. This isn't a statistic. This is a continental earthquake, disguised as a ranking update. The tremors are being felt from Manila to Madrid, and the international tennis media has absolutely no idea how to respond. What makes this even more extraordinary is the context surrounding it. Just 12 months ago, the same critics who are now scrambling for words were openly questioning whether Alex had the physical capacity to survive the grind of the professional tour. They said she was a junior sensation who would fade when the real women showed up. They were wrong in every possible direction. Over the past year, she has not just survived the pro circuit. She has methodically dismantled it, building momentum through the Australian summer, producing dominant performances in Dubai, and finally delivering the seismic win at Indian Wells that launched her into tennis immortality. Now here is where the story gets genuinely fascinating, because the jump to number 28 is not simply about prestige. It triggers a chain reaction of consequences that most casual fans never think about. Being a top 30 player fundamentally transforms the architecture of a tennis career. It means direct entry into every Grand Slam without needing wildcards or qualifiers. It means seeded status, which protects her from facing the top giants of the sport in the opening rounds. The tournament landscape itself reshapes around her new position. She is no longer navigating the brutal early-round gauntlet that kills careers before they truly begin. The financial dimension of this story is where things become almost surreal. Sources close to the situation are reporting that Alex's climb past a specific ranking threshold activated secret performance clauses buried inside her major endorsement agreements. The numbers being whispered in sports business circles suggest a bonus figure in the range of $500,000 triggered by this single ranking movement. Inside the commercial world of professional tennis, the distance between number 31 and number 28 is not 3 spots on a list. It is the gap between being a promising investment and being a global brand asset. Major sponsors are reportedly in emergency strategy sessions right now, recalculating everything they thought they knew about her market value. The corporate reaction inside the WTA itself is equally telling. Digital analysts tracking Alex's online presence discovered that the ranking announcement generated 80 million impressions across platforms within the first 6 hours alone. The hashtag ELA28 crossed 100 million total impressions before the desert sun even set over Indian Wells. For context, these are numbers that players ranked inside the top 5 rarely achieve with their own announcements. The establishment built its entire marketing hierarchy around a certain order of things, and Alex is burning that hierarchy to the ground from position 28. But pull back from the business layer for a moment and look at what is happening inside the actual tennis community, because the psychological dimension of this story is the most compelling part. Coaches of top 20 players are reportedly requesting emergency scouting sessions focused entirely on breaking down Alex's game. Rivals who barely acknowledged her existence in tour hallways are now approaching her team with sudden interest. One message allegedly sent from a current top 10 player to her own coaching staff after seeing the new rankings consisted of just 3 words: "She is coming." That message tells you everything about how the balance of power on the WTA Tour is shifting in real time. Inside the Nadal Academy in Mallorca, the atmosphere when that ranking screen refreshed at 4 in the morning local time was reportedly unlike anything the staff had witnessed before. The people who built Alex from a talented young prospect into a top 30 force understand better than anyone what those 2,000+ hours on the practice courts over the past year actually cost her. While peers were resting, she was training. While others were managing their schedules, she was eliminating weaknesses. One coach from the academy described her focus as something that genuinely unsettled people around her, because it was so absolute and so unrelenting. The message that reportedly arrived from Rafael Nadal himself after the ranking update is the emotional centerpiece of this entire story. The 22-time Grand Slam champion allegedly sent a 2-minute private video to Alex and the people closest to her. Those who heard it say he didn't spend the message celebrating what she had already accomplished. He reportedly told her directly that she had opened a door and that her job now was to walk through it and claim everything on the other side. That kind of message from that particular person carries a weight that transcends sport. Back in the Philippines, the reaction has taken on a dimension that goes far beyond tennis. Thousands of people reportedly flooded the streets in celebration the moment the ranking became official. Local tennis clubs were suddenly overwhelmed with parents bringing their children to register. All of them inspired by watching one of their own reach a height nobody from this region had reached before. A private infrastructure fund reportedly worth $1 million has been established by domestic donors to construct new courts in Alex's name. She has transformed from an athlete into a national symbol of possibility in a way that only happens once in a generation. Her father, Mike Eala, broke his public silence after the ranking dropped, and reportedly posted a 5-word message directed at every analyst and commentator who spent years insisting his daughter lacked the power and the size to compete at the highest level. The message read simply, "Do you see us now?" 5 words that contained years of patience, sacrifice, and quiet defiance. And then there is the moment that the witnesses inside the Indian Wells Media Center are still talking about. Alex reportedly walked toward the official WTA ranking wall, watched the digital display refresh with her name at number 28, and stood completely still for 10 full seconds. No screaming, no tears, no performance for the cameras. She placed her hand on the screen and reportedly whispered 3 words to herself. Just the beginning. Her rivals, who learned about that moment, are apparently more unsettled by those 3 words than by the ranking itself. The mathematical reality of what number 28 means for the upcoming Grand Slam season is something experts are only beginning to calculate. Seeded status fundamentally changes the bracket geometry. The top 5 players in the world cannot be scheduled to face Alex before the 3rd round at minimum. For the first time, the architects of these draws have to build their brackets around the assumption that Alex Eala is a protected player. One official connected to a major Grand Slam organizing body reportedly said the Eala factor has completely changed how they are thinking about their upcoming draw structures. The Nadal Academy has reportedly commissioned a permanent plaque for their Hall of Champions, bearing Alex's name and her ranking of 28, alongside the words, "Pride of the Philippines." The students training there today are growing up with a blueprint that didn't exist before. The ceiling that every Southeast Asian tennis talent was told existed has been publicly and permanently removed by a 20-year-old from Manila who simply refused to accept it. Number 28 is the milestone. What comes next is the actual story.